Okay, John, Manchester City, their defence in rag order. They, like Liverpool, they scored in the first minute.
Yeah.
Aguero scored in the first minute. I think they've beaten Burton Albion, 9-0, and they beat someone else 7-0, Rotherham or someone. But I think for weeks they've looked lethargic. The buzz, the zip, the threat seems to have gone, and they really didn't. They gave up 2 bad goals. They don't have a good defence, John.
No, they didn't play well, Eamon. That's happened. There's no doubt about that. Newcastle actually surprised me. They played well on the night. But if you go back over the last 6 matches, Eamon, they've won lots of matches without conceding a goal at all. So it was it was a bad night. It happens. Didn't play well. Newcastle played better than anybody expected, myself included. And deserved to beat them on the night. So you can't just go on one match. It was a poor performance for them. There's no doubt about that. And it was a bad loss.
What I would say to you, John, is that whilst you could say of the Liverpool-Leicester game that Leicester are a very good side and played really well on the night, you couldn't say that about Newcastle. Newcastle are what they always were. They're dogged.
And they played well on the night, Eamon. I thought Newcastle defended really, really well on the night. They're not a good team. But on the night, the other night, if you take that in isolation, which you have to do, that was the match, I thought they played well. I thought Newcastle played well. Leicester played better the other night than been played in recent weeks. They've lost the last 3 matches, Leicester, and their manager's under severe pressure, but they went out and played well on the night. And Newcastle played better the other night than I've seen them play all season. That's the way it goes. It was a bad performance for City, a bad night for them. But you can't dismiss the previous 6 or 7 or 8 matches where they hadn't conceded a goal. Up to that, it's going to happen.
Didi?
Well, I think it's a more basic question. I think we touched on it a few weeks ago with Guardiola, that he's not the type of manager who shows the most empathy towards players. He's got very high standards of the players. And they either do it or they don't. Pretty similar to how Rafa Benitez ticks or works. And he's been there for 3 years now. And knowing from his time in Munich, there are a lot of players after 3 years. They had a successful time. They won the league, even though they fell short in the Champions League 3 times, running in the semi-finals. There are a lot of players who said after 3 years, it was great, he took us to another level. But at the same time, it's nice to see the back of it now, because he's so demanding, and it's every day, and every day he wants the best out of you, and he pushes you to the limit every single day. Now, I just wonder whether Guardiola's reign or his dominance at Manchester City is waning, because if you look at the games they've lost, Newcastle, Palace, Leicester, they wouldn't have lost these games last year or 2 years ago.
No.
And I think what lacks at Manchester City at the moment is doing the basics right, because I think Guardiola teams never got enough credit, whether it was Barcelona or Bayern Munich, how hard they work off the ball. And I think that's something they don't do at the moment. Hence, they lack that dominance in a game to dominate possession and to dominate games. And I think that's the biggest issue at the moment. And, people talk about the title race, five points. Now, Liverpool needs to lose 2 games. They need to win all the games from now till the end of the season, which both teams won't do probably. But I just struggle to see how City, the way they're going at the moment with the games they lost, because I think for the first time confidence is an issue as well.
Yes,
it's something you would have never said about the team. Their confidence is a problem. De Bruyne is not really firing since he's come back from injury. So I think there's a lot of question marks about City at the moment.
Yeah, John, De Bruyne has come back from injury. He was substituted last week and he stormed off. He didn't sit on the bench. He went straight to the dressing room, and it was clear that he was very angry. The other night against Newcastle, he sulked. I thought he was very petulant. There was no energy in his play. And again, I think he was, there's something wrong with De Bruyne. He's got the hump. And it's interesting that Didi should say that the players after 3 years at Bayern Munich were fed up with this guy. Now, I would say that...
I don't think he actually said that, Eamon. I don't think he said he said, actually, what did he...
You can ask him.
You were fed up with him?
Well, they were fed up with him, yeah. Is that what they said, Didi?
Yeah, so that's what they said, because it was 24/7.
Yeah.
Every day, every single day. There wasn't one day off. Every single day they had to do stuff. He was telling them things to do. They felt they lost a little bit of liberty and creativity in their play, and because it was all very structured. And John, they did say it was a great time. They learned a lot. They learned a lot, but it wasn't the worst thing. They needed somebody else after 3 years, and that's usually how he works. Usually he signs for 2-3 years, and then he moves on. And I don't think he's a manager you'll see at the club for 9 or 10 years.
Well, I think that's an excellent analysis, Didi. I must say, I've learned something from it there. I've seen with Chelsea, with Conte, they didn't like him, not for the same reasons that they got fed up with Guardiola. And I've never heard of that before, and I think that's really, really good information.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Sorry,
No, it's fascinating because it's been in their play, John, and I think Didi's hit it. I've seen them. I said to you a couple of months ago when we were talking during the City match, I said, these guys, they're just going through the motions. There's no energy there. And now the other problem is a problem with De Bruyne, who was the footballer of the year last year, or at least he should have been, but he was certainly a powerful force in that team. Yeah. And he's not that anymore.
Well, there's a couple of reasons there. I mean, he did have a bad injury. He was out for a long time.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Now, he's got to get back to match fitness. Yeah. That could be a cause of it. The other cause could be that as Didi explained there, that he might be a bit fed up with Guardiola. So we don't know, but he certainly hasn't played as well as he did last year. That could be down to the injury, or it could be his relationship with Guardiola. We don't know. I mean, when he was taken off the previous week, I would think it was in a match that they were winning easily, Eamon, and it looked to me as if Guardiola was trying to get him back to match fitness and doing it for his benefit, not because he was playing badly. Now, if he's taking the hump over that, I think he's wrong. I think if he's a bit petulant going off the pitch in a match where they needed to win, it's more understandable. It doesn't mean it's necessarily right. So there's two different situations there with De Bruyne.
Okay.